Guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be, do I regret joining the military? I have been active duty Air Force for 2 years. You guys are watching this on December 11th and I shipped out December 11th, 2018. So we made it to 2 years, especially during a global pandemic in 2020. Do I regret signing a 6-year contract? Do I regret joining the military? I made a video like this a year ago and I thought that I would give you guys an update on what has changed and how I'm feeling now. So if you guys like this video, if it's helpful, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and let's get into the video. So like I said, I did sign a 6-year contract and I just hit my 2-year mark for active duty. So I do have 4 years left of active duty and then I have 2 years left in the reserves. So when you sign your contract, you typically sign for 8 years. Some people do 4 and 4 and some people do 6 and 2. So a lot of people sign a 4-year contract because they might have like other goals to pursue when they get out, like education goals, career goals, and I kind of did all that before the military. So I have been at my first duty station for 1 year and 4 months and I have no idea how it's already been that much time. In 2020, it just feels like sometimes time is standing still and we just like can't get out of this year. But when I look back and think of my last video like this, a lot has happened, a lot has changed. And I guess let's just start from the beginning. So February and March, I went on my first TDY, which is temporary duty, and they sent me to Pensacola, Florida. So not too bad for my first TDY. I lived in Florida for 5 or 6 years before. It's where I went to college and I love Florida. So I was happy to be back. I was there about a month. So then not too long after I got back from my TDY, Bradley proposed in March, and then in May, I got an opportunity to apply for the Space Force. I have no idea if I've been accepted or not, if I'll be transferring or not, so still waiting to find out about that. I should find out in the next couple weeks, so that is up in the air. In July, Bradley and I got married. We really wanted to get married in Missouri, where my immediate family is. That did not happen. A lot of things have just not been going the way we thought they would in 2020, but anyways, we did end up still getting married here at my duty station in July. We got married on 4th of July. And then in October, I did get my first promotion to an E4 senior airman. I did get BTZ, so that was very exciting. Also back in July, right after me and Bradley got married, we started the joint spouse process. So that is also something that has been going on since July, and it is not an easy process. It has been challenging. So still waiting to hear back about the Space Force, still working on our joint spouse process. I don't know how those two are going to work out, especially together around the same time. So yeah, some stuff is up in the air. As far as OTS, I know I get a lot of questions and messages about if I'm still considering commissioning, and right now it's just not realistic for it to be a short-term goal of mine, especially with the joint spouse process up in the air, Space Force up in the air. I don't know, like I could be PCSing soon. I have no idea if and when or where I'll be going. So as of right now, OTS and commissioning is not a priority of mine. I swear it feels like just yesterday I sat down making this video talking about my first year in the Air Force, and for me, this last year has consisted of quite a few growing pains, and I don't think I realize how much I grow and change until I sit down and reflect like this. So I will watch older videos or older Instagram stories of mine, and sometimes I'm like, I don't sound the same or look the same or feel the same. It just, I mean, before I joined the Air Force, I already felt, you know, pretty confident, pretty resilient. I'm a little bit older than a lot of people that were going in, and I've been through some stuff. I've been through some hard stuff. So I guess I just didn't expect to change so much. I know that going in when you're younger, you kind of know that you're gonna like grow up, mature, become more independent, like more confident, stronger, all these things. And for me, I was like, you know, I felt like I already grew up, I guess, and I already changed and matured, I guess, as much as I thought I was going to. I didn't think that I would experience such a drastic change so short into my enlistment. So I don't know, I think with 2020 bringing so many challenges that we didn't really anticipate, that was another thing that kind of pushed me into being more resilient, stronger, more confident. I've just faced some challenges this year. Me and Bradley have spent the first 5 months of our marriage apart. I've also switched squadrons when I wasn't even in my first squadron very long, And so my leadership has changed throughout the year. I'm also not stationed at an Air Force base, so I don't know if I'm getting the full Air Force experience. I am stationed at an Army base, and it's a joint environment, so I don't see or work with too many Air Force people, especially in my shop. So it's a lot of Navy, it's a lot of civilians. If and when our joint spouse does get approved, I hope that I will get stationed at an Air Force base. I would very much look forward to being at an Air Force base again. Okay, so going back to being promoted to senior airman, I should be testing for staff sergeant in May or June. So that is happening pretty fast. I had no idea that, you know, once you rank up to senior airman, your staff sergeant test would be so soon. So I have been kind of like skimming study guides and looking up information about that testing. Obviously, I want nothing more than to get staff sergeant the first time around, but if not, then that's okay. I know that's not the plan for me if that's not the way it works out. So definitely one of the biggest challenges this year for me is the fact that I haven't been home since last December. So it's been pretty much a full year, and I did put in a leave request for the holidays, but we are also waiting to hear back about that. So my leave request is also up in the air. When I enlisted, I never anticipated that there would be a full year where I couldn't go home unless I was deployed or something, which I've not been deployed yet. Don't know if I will be, but I just didn't know that this was a possibility. I mean, nobody anticipated what's happening in 2020. So that has just kind of caused me to, again, be a little bit more resilient, a little bit stronger. I obviously miss my family to death. I can't wait to see them. I truly hope our leave gets approved, but no matter what, me and Bradley will at least be together for the holidays, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. So this is probably the most frequently asked question that I get when it comes to, do I regret joining the military? A lot of people want to know, do I regret signing a 6-year contract? So I would be lying if I sat here and said that it didn't cross my mind that I could be halfway through my contract if I signed for 4 years, but I'm not even gonna go down that rabbit hole because I signed for 6. I'm doing 6. It's happening no matter what. So I don't regret signing a 6-year contract. And the reason is a lot of people who enlist for 4 years, they are wanting to pursue other goals after their 4-year enlistment, like career goals, education goals, things like that. So I kind of already did all that before I enlisted. I got a couple degrees. I, pursued a couple different careers. I've lived in 3 or 4 different states. I've traveled to different countries. I joined the Air Force because I was ready to live this lifestyle and not to get benefits and get out and, do something else with my life. I hope that makes sense. I feel like I go into this a lot in my videos, but there's nothing that I'm in an immediate hurry to accomplish besides me and Bradley wanting to start a family. So that is a goal that we can pursue in or out of the military. So I'm not like feeling trapped or, wishing I could get out and do something else with my life. I'm not wondering what it would be like if I, didn't enlist and do something else, because I've already done everything else, I feel like. So no, I don't regret signing a 6-year contract. But again, I'm only 2 years in, so we'll see how I feel years down the line in these videos. But another question that I get a lot is, am I going to re-enlist? And at this point in the game, I don't know. There are times where I think, maybe I should get out because we're gonna be starting a family. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to re-enlist right now. It's not a yes, it's not a no. I still have 4 years to figure it out. So I'm not in a hurry to make that decision, but I know you guys are just curious how I feel in this moment and like kind of what I've thought about based on my experience so far. If I don't re-enlist, I will be like 32, 33 when I get out, and then I'll still have those 2 years of reserves to do. So I'll be in my early 30s if I don't re-enlist, and if I do get out, I will probably go for my master's maybe, or I could be a stay-at-home mom if we have kids by then. Like, I have no idea. Maybe I'll re-enlist, maybe I'll do 20, like who even knows? I have 4 years left to decide, so I'm not sure yet. One thing I do want to point out is how grateful I am for the stability during this pandemic. So many people have been laid off, they've lost their jobs for different reasons, and COVID has caused so much financial strain on people, and the military hasn't had to worry about that. I'm very lucky to have a stable income. I mean, they literally give us a food allowance, a housing allowance, a steady paycheck twice a month, every month, no matter what. Like, we are getting paid and we don't have to worry about it. So that is one thing that I've grown increasingly more grateful for. I've always been grateful for all the opportunities that I've been given so far in the military, but that is something that I've like really felt deeply this year because I've seen so many people struggle, and you know, so many people just are stressed about where their next paycheck is going to come from, and I just haven't had to worry about that. So I know that the longer people are in, it's not uncommon to have a more negative mindset the longer you're in. Some people fall victim to becoming salty, and you know, if you let the toxicity stay around you and you feed into it, then you kind of become increasingly more unhappy in the military. It seems like there's like this section of toxic culture where people are just not happy, and it happens because you've signed a contract, and if you regret your decision, I mean, you still have to finish your contract. So I know that there's a section of people out there who are not happy, and I'm just trying to not fall into that group. I'm trying to keep the most positive mindset that I can, and it feels like the longer you're in and the more you climb the ranks, you might find yourself running into some of those people more and more. It's just bound to happen. So I definitely still have a positive mindset. I definitely still have no regrets, even through 2020. The bad has still, no, other way around. Even through 2020, the good has still outweighed the bad. I hope that I feel the same way, if not better, in 4 years. I hope that through my whole contract, I can maintain this like strong, positive mindset where, you know, I just don't let those types of people get to me, and I stay resilient, I stay strong. That's my hope for everybody in this situation. I hope that the military is treating you well. I hope that you are enjoying your contract so far, making the best of your duty station, even if it's not the one you wanted, because my duty station wasn't even on my list. I didn't even know I could come here, and that's okay. It's temporary. Even if you've signed for 4 years or 6 years, you're gonna have an entire life outside the military one day. And it doesn't matter if you do 4 years or 20 years, you are going to have a life after the military someday. And you kind of have to keep that perspective. So even on the worst days, even through the worst years like 2020, I try to remind myself that this is temporary. And I'm going to look back on these videos, and I don't want to say, oh, I wish I would have just made the most of it. I just want to make the most of it now. So Bradley and I do make jokes right now, like we wish we could call our boss and say we're taking a sick day tomorrow, or we wish we could just book a flight somewhere and go wherever we feel like it for however long we feel like it. I mean, there are those moments now that we've been in a few years that we start to think like, dang, we wish we could do certain things. Like it has sunk in. But yeah, overall, no regrets so far. If I missed anything that you guys are curious about, just go ahead and leave it in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!